Hi, Steven. Happy birthday.
Hello. All right.
Happy
Photoshop
birthday,
is
Steven,
official.
from Bennigan's to you. Happy birthday, Steven. May all your dreams come true. Hey.
Bennigan's. Oh my god.
Yeah, I used to love Bennigan's when I
I
was in
haven't thought
college.
about Bennigan's in forever.
Man.
We used to go to,
Best chicken tenders in the world.
is that on record?
I don't know, just in my mind, because it's been so long since I've had Bennigan's.
You ever go to a Fuddruckers?
Yes!
We had one by the Coliseum, like growing up in, out, I guess that's, where's the Coliseum? I don't even know.
You gotta get closer to the microphone, or the microphone has to come closer to you.
All right. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, you're good.
No,
Just
yeah.
a little bit.
So, they had it by Nassau Coliseum. There was a Fuddruckers and a TGI Fridays. That was always like the after the Coliseum spot. So
Fuddruckers was after church thing when I was a high school kid going to the youth group.
oh, jeez,
And
so fancy.
we went to Fuddruckers, and that was the deal. And then Bennigan's, graduated up to Bennigan's when I was in college.
Did you ever go to a Sizzler?
I went one time with my family, but my favorite Sizzler memory is from Ghostbusters 2 when they show up in the rain jackets and he goes, wait, let me guess. All you can eat steak night at the Sizzler.
It's ribs, Wayne. All
Is
you can
it?
eat
Oh,
ribs.
shoot. All right,
you
cut
blow
that.
it.
Strike that. We could edit it and all that.
Oh, man.
Okay, ready? Hey, Greg, we have a voicemail.
Do we actually have a phone number?
We have an email address that people can email voice memos to.
Oh, okay, cool.
The phone number thing doesn't really.
I was like, can I pick it? Could it be like 1-800-Craig's awesome? Like,
I tried that with the One to Grow On podcast. I tried having a phone number, and if here's the clue, by the way, if nobody uses that phone number, Google just takes it away and they don't tell you. So one day, I was like, I wonder if we have any voicemails, and it was gone because nobody ever called me. All
That's a cue for sad music again.
Okay, so I have a voicemail, and it's from Jessica. All right, you ready? Let me know if you could hear this. Here we go.
Hi, Wayne and Greg, longtime listener here, and I love your podcast, but I do have to just weigh in about the cereal thing. Number one, I do understand textures because of the fact that cereals just go soggy way too quick. And thus, that's the reason why you only eat Captain Crunch with just a little bit of milk in it, and then it's okay. And then you have to eat it within like the first 30 seconds, okay? That's number one. Number two, I just want to weigh in. Tony the Tiger, he's great, remember? Like, he should totally be up at the top. But I do understand the whole Count Dracula, all them. Yes, they were very good. Captain Crunch, well, you know, obviously that's a favorite because the cereal. So there's that. But my mom did work for Kellogg's, and she did send us all of the prizes, and I will say they were pretty cool. So, yeah, the prizes were really the best part.
Aw, thanks so much, Jessica. That was first voicemail. First voicemail, by the way. Do you agree with the milk thing, Greg? I have no point of reference.
I mean, no. I mean, I listen. This may be blasphemy, but I enjoy when the cereal gets soggy.
Ooh.
Also, shout out to another cereal that I love with all my heart. I forgot to mention it, and I should be shamed for it. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is right up there.
I like those commercials. The singing bakers.
He says, I like those commercials.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, thank you for referencing the commercial that fell in between the Brady Bunch.
Voicemail.
Woo!
Are you ready? You ready to get started?
Let's get started.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome, true believers, to another episode of the Flip City Podcast, your rad retro host of all things Ghostbusters, wrestling, 80s, 90s, throwback pop culture, and more. I'm Wayne.
Hey, you guys. I'm Greg.
Oh, man. Okay, are you excited about today's topic or what?
Probably or what?
This is a lie. This is a lie from the depths of the cave where One-Eyed Willie's treasure lays. And so we're excited about today because in a little bit we're going to be talking about Goonies, Greg's like all-time favorite movie, right?
It ranks up there. Like I know we mentioned with the Burbs top movies that shaped me into the way I am, but Goonies is up there. And I've definitely watched Goonies at least maybe 6 million times in my life.
Remind me to tell you a little piece of trivia. I got some trivia today. I'm going to tell you a little piece of trivia behind the phrase, "Hey, you guys."
Okay, all right.
And so we got some of that. But all right, before we get to anything, Greg, how you doing? How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend?
Greg's doing all right. He's a little still. I have a little bit of a punk rock hangover still. Sunday night, I went and hung out with Mark, Tom, and Travis from Blink-182 with my sisters at Citi Field. They played the stadium where the Mets play, and it was the best concert I've ever been to in my life. So if I sound a little raspy still, it's because I was screaming my elder emo heart out. So
is it was this a planned thing? Like, was this like something you guys had like been planning for a long time?
Yeah, we bought tickets back in October. So especially because the last time they came around, tickets were astronomical, like WrestleMania type pricing.
Oh,
so
yeah,
but it's the first time in I'm gonna say probably like 10 years that the original band is back together. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like a reunion, right?
Yeah, reunion, and they launched a new album. So it was kind of like a rebirth for them. Which I wanted to bring something up because what was pretty crazy is what worlds collide moment for me. We're sitting in the stands at Citi Field, waiting for the show to start. Lights went out. All of a sudden, you see the smoke machine starts going really heavy, and what do you hear? Gong. And Blink-182 enters the show to the Undertaker's theme song.
No.
Yeah, it was the place went nuts, and they had the flame cannons and everything, just like Taker. It was crazy, and then they automatically went into their set right after, like an electrical, like almost like Wyatt-esque like shutdown of the. I was like, what is happening? And my sisters were like, oh my, you look insane right now. I was like, this is what it's like when worlds collide, to quote the great band Power Man 5000.
Is this when, like, did it feel like maybe like they were rising from the dead? Like they were.
I think that was the.
Coming...
That was the. I think that was the theme, and it was cool. It was wild.
So the only thing I kept thinking of, because I'm watching, I follow you on social media. I was watching your your videos of the concert, and then I was like following along, and I'm like, how funny is it all these years later that, when you get to the song, and you're singing "What's My Age Again," and you have to shout back out 40.
Oh, we're going there. Okay, cool.
No, I'm just it's pretty funny. It's like my friends say I should act my age, and then I think about that now, and I'm like, that song applies more now to me than even back then. Because I mean, like when you're in your 20s, you should act like you're in your 20s. But now I'm in my 40s, and I still want to act like I'm in my teens.
100%, totally agree with them. And if you could take anything from them, their friendship and their banter on stage is just like. Just keep your friends close and have a good time and don't stop BSing because it's fun. And honestly, they were jabbing each other as much as we jab each other on the podcast. So it's cool. Age is just a number.
So you're saying we should be famous punk stars soon?
Yeah, I tried, man. I used to wear skater shoes. This dude can't skate. No, you nuts.
And now, it's like, man, skater shoes, that's just bad orthopedically.
Yeah,
that's cool. More sensible skater shoes.
That's okay. Somebody complimented my Nike Air Max in the bathroom. They were like, "Oh, those are sweet." I was like, "Oh, it's like the SpongeBob colorway, bro. It's like hot pink and yellow." They was like, "Those are awesome." I was like, I walked out of the bathroom like, "Oh man, somebody complimented my shoes."
See, I go to the bathroom in a stadium and I just go like, "Don't talk to me. Just don't. Let's not have a conversation in the bathroom." It's.
I mean, he had some sweet Nike Dunks on too, and they were both yellow. So I think it was like the.
Oh, you were like like Nike Brothers. You guys had like a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
You made a friend in the bathroom. That was nice.
We high-fived after washing our hands.
Oh, don't high five. That's a terrible idea. So I got something in the mail, which I think is totally on brand for me, and I think it's cool. And I'm going to describe it for the podcast, but this is one of those, like, we got to show it for the social clip. That's for sure. But so I subscribe to, I get these Dinosaur Dracula fun packs. And so Dinosaur Dracula from the Purple Stuff podcast, they're a really cool retro podcast, and so quite possibly maybe, like, you know, part of the inspiration for us to do something like this. But so I get these crates, these boxes from him, like, on a regular basis, and sometimes they have some fun stuff. So, like, they'll have like trading cards, right? And so this month he has a couple of wax packs in here, and this one is a Desert Storm wax pack, which I don't have, so I could add that to my wax pack collection. There is a Street Sharks wax pack, which I just turned my daughter onto Street Sharks this weekend. So, Street Sharks, not good, by the way. It's not a good cartoon.
Oh, so it's like Mask, right? Not good.
No, Mask is incredible. All right, and then some Pretz. These are some snacks. Pretz Pizzeria sticks. They're like Pockies, but pizza flavored.
Are those from the 80s? Like, or are they fresh?
I think it's like he wanted to throw in. He throws in a snack every month.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's too hot. It's the summer. If I put candy or something like that in there, it's gonna melt, be sticky, and get rotten.
Of course, pizza sticks. That's the way to go.
Yeah, pizza sticks. And so he did that. But you know what? It kind of was retro-esque because pizza-flavored things were hot in the 80s and 90s. And so,
what do you mean we're hot?
They were back then. So,
they still are.
Here's some retro Kool-Aid, pink Swimingo back in the day. And then it says, very old, do not eat.
No, you need to mix that up right now. Mix some of that up right now. That'll make the podcast go into super drive.
You couldn't pay me. They would have to go behind a Patreon wall and then just to pay for my hospital expenses.
We're going to mix it into with a bowl of cereal for you.
Oh, gosh. Retro regurgitation. Okay.
But for
the last 3 months, this is the thing, okay? The last 3 months, he has added these prints from a Doritos ad, a Pepsi, or like, it's kind of like a Frito-Lay Pepsi Dorito ad. And it was a Universal Monsters ad that they had back in the day. And so it was this, you know, all the Universal Monsters were gathered up so they could party and have a good time and all this. And so the first one that I received was this one in the mail, and it says, gotta have a Monster Bash. Okay? And so this was a cool one because it's got all the Universal Monsters on there. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, so everything from like Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, who happens to be my favorite monster, Dracula, we've got Creature from the Black Lagoon, and we've got the Mummy.
I thought that was Max Headroom for a second.
I thought so too. And then it was like he's wearing wraps, but his head is exposed with sunglasses because he's partying. I don't understand. But so this is the first one. And then the next month I got this print, which was like a cut of the print. And it's got Frankenstein's monster, and it's got Dracula, and then it's got the Doritos, Ruffles, Pepsi, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Up my alley. Why? Because Frankenstein's monster is my favorite. And then this month,
Frankenstein,
I get this.
Oh, dang.
And it's another cut, and I think this was actually like a cut of the poster.
Yeah.
And so now what I've got myself here is a handy-dandy art display that I honestly think I'm going to take to get framed and have, like, make a thing out of it.
That's cool. You need to get an old can of Pepsi and, like, flatten it and put it in there, too.
Oh, just, like, stick it in there? I like the way you think, Greg.
I know. I have that visual communication skill, so it's kind of my thing.
And I think I might have to go to Target and find another Frankenstein and maybe customize them to look like this guy. I think like a party Frank.
I think I might have a Ronald McDonald in a Frankenstein costume, if that would be helpful.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk. We'll cut a side deal a little bit.
Also, do you have wall space for that stuff?
Yes, for Halloween
Nice.
I do, but I look at some of the stuff as seasonal. So there are some things that have to come off
This
and
guy's
come
like the
back in.
Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. This is like and we're in spooky season. Plus, I have a Frankenstein's monster shelf
Oh my
dedicated just to Frank, and so
I just have a really good idea,
okay.
and I feel like this is the second episode in a row, but you
Well,
need
you have a great idea.
you need a Universal Monsters Championship belt.
Oh my goodness.
Like that graphic alone would look dope on a front plate.
I really think you're right. Listen. I think I need a Universal Monsters everything. I love Universal Monsters. I love that concept. I actually am considering either passes or something to Universal Studios.
I thought you were going to say like a Universal Monsters back tattoo.
I got space. I can do that. Sure. What? Give me ideas. That'd be great. But I'm thinking about, because when Epic Universe opens up for Universal Studios, they're going to have an entire land dedicated to the Universal Monsters.
It's pretty wild. Yep.
They may get me. I haven't been to Universal Studios in a long time. Anyway, we might have to do that. So, all right. So that was my pickups. You had something cool. I got something cool. And I think it's time to dive in to the Goonies.
I cannot wait.
Okay. So let's talk about the Goonies. Goonies came out in 1985. Okay.
Yeah.
And so where were you in 1985, Greg?
I went to the movies to see it. I just drove myself to the theater, on my...
Will you stop?
Will you please stop? Goonies is another one of those VHS movies for me that was one of our movies that we had. Because I was 2 in 85, so probably not old enough to take myself to the movies. My parents definitely didn't take me to the movies to see Goonies. But I think we had a off TV or a HBO Annie D special copy of Goonies that we watched until that tape died, probably.
Until it was over.
Yeah, and that's one of those movies that has really, it's very special to me. Like it's so much fun. It's quoted. I don't want to say like it's part of my personality. Because Goonies is more than just a movie. It is a way of life, and it's what I refer to my friends as when, we're hanging out, or it's a stamp of honor being a Goonie.
So I saw the Goonies in the theater. Here I was. So it was 1985, so I was 9 when the Goonies came out, and so perfect timing for a kid to go into the movie theater. And so I want to kind of paint a little picture of like where I was at, okay? Because June of 85, I was still living in New Jersey, and so likely my my movie going mate was my brother for this one, and he was at that time he was a teenager in high school. I don't remember seeing it with my parents or my mom. So that wasn't like one of those movies. But so this thing lived on its own because there was no other movie before that I was like going to go see. So nothing the week before or the week before that. 2 weeks before the Goonies came out, Fletch, the movie Fletch with Chevy Chase came out. And I remember seeing that, but I don't even think I saw that in the theater. I think that was like an HBO thing. So there was nothing competing with the Goonies until a few weeks later when I saw the scariest movie of my life at the time when I was 9.
I can't wait to hear what it is. What is it?
It was Return to Oz. Have you ever seen any clips of this movie?
No, but I know about the guys with the wheelie hands and stuff.
Return to Oz is like
Ugh.
it was the scariest thing at the time. I can't even tell you, but
you probably didn't expect to be hit with that based off of the first movie.
No, it was insane. But the Goonies was this like wild adventure of a flick to sit down as a kid and to experience it from the very first time, start to finish, everything about it. was hilarious. I wanted to go and see this movie specifically because of the trailers, and they kept showing, when they showed the trailer, to the original movie, you have Data in there in that trailer going, I got a great idea, you guys, slick shoes, and they're like slick shoes, and then they go into the next adventure, and so for me, everything about it, start to finish, was so much stinking fun, that, I couldn't wait to see it again and again and again, and I had to wait. See, like back in the day, I had to wait for HBO so that I could tape it and then watch it again. But that was my first Goonie experience. And the thing about it was, it's like, for me, what sucked about it was the fact that, like, there was no toys, right? There was no merchandise to go with this thing. I wanted to keep having like a Goonie adventure, and so you got to see it, on VHS, which means you got to like wear it out. I had to like sit and wait.
Yeah, I mean, Goonies is one of those movies where I honestly don't know how it wasn't merchandised in the 80s or early 90s at all. Like, everybody had that same, when you got the official release of VHS, it was probably that white clamshell one, but that was it. Like, you couldn't find Goonies t-shirt or anything, anywhere else. Like, and even today, like, you would expect, we would get some, like, I know they've made reaction figures and stuff like that, but it is legit a cult classic movie, but I still don't understand how this cult classic movie was so mainstream that it didn't get a thing. Like, it blows my mind, and that's really where it lived, though. It was, you were watching the Goonies and wanting to go live a Goonie adventure, and I think that's where this movie is so beloved. It's because it encouraged kids to, I don't know, not go fight criminals, but to
go on an adventure, like to go on a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Like, I literally remember after that movie coming out going, okay, I need to make a map. I need to go and find out where I didn't get the idea. Like, I didn't put two and two together where, like, I can't make the map and then automatically there'd be like a treasure showing up somewhere. But I was doing that. I was like, okay, here's the map. We're going to go to the park and X marks the spot. I think the cool thing about that movie is the fact that you had kids taking the lead. You had just these kids that they were, they're the main characters. They're the one in charge. I can't remember a movie before that really highlighted, kids being, the lead and being the main characters.
And I think the other great thing about it is it's not just, it's a diverse group of kids. It's not all kids from the same, it's like a real friend group. Like, you're not having like, all of just the preppy kids. Like, there is a mix of kids, like, between Chunk and Data, and then you have Josh and Mikey. No, Bran. I'm sorry,
Brand.
I referred to Josh Brolin, who plays Brand, but
Thanos.
Thanos is hanging out with what's a Samwise? Potato chip?
No, that's a Lord of the Rings reference.
I don't mess with the Lords of the Rings.
I don't either, but I just know that he was in it.
I only mess with the Kings of the Rings.
So, okay, but so take the story, right? So the story, super simple. Don't overthink it, right? It takes place in Astoria, and you've got,
Whoa, before you go any further, young Greg, now when you say Astoria, young Greg had no idea there was another Astoria besides Astoria in New York. My mom had always talked about Astoria, and I was like, I don't understand how there's no cities in this movie. Like, where in New York are they? Because this makes no sense. And I was definitely way too old when I found out it was not Astoria.
Where is
Astoria,
this place?
Queens.
That's awesome. No, but yeah, so it takes place in this, and the kids, the whole town, apparently, the entire town and the neighborhood these kids live in, the Goondocks, they're gonna get foreclosed on.
Yeah, Troy's dad's a jerk.
Yes, and it's all interconnected. Yeah, because it's like, Brand's nemesis, his nemesis's dad is foreclosing on his dad, and so now it's all interwoven and connected. And you literally have these kids. You like the first 5 minutes of the movie paints the picture right away. Every kid falls into their role of the movie, and immediately the thing you get thrown into an adventure. Hey, let's go exploring, or let's go take a look at what's in the attic. And
this is great. All I have in my attic is old Hanukkah decorations.
Okay, can I tell you something about the quotes in this movie?
Yeah.
So we are a PG podcast, okay? So we are not in the Attitude Era. We keep things clean here and all this. And so I got to tell you about the quotes of this movie, because this was a rookie Wayne mistake, as a kid. When I was in elementary school, right? We used to watch the Goonies. Like, I would hang out in the after school program of my school, and we would watch the Goonies on TV. And that was where like my fondness came from, is we would watch a recorded VHS copy in parts during this after school program. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you could totally show kids this movie, no problem. And so I was a youth pastor, and this is like the mid to late 90s, right? Where I'm doing this. We're on a trip. And we're on a bus. And so I was in charge of, I'm bringing like these, cassette tapes to pop into the bus's VCR on this long road trip that we're taking. And so I'm bringing some of the standards. You got Disney movies, you got kid movies and all this. And so then I brought with me to show this, youth group, a copy of The Goonies. And, and this guy thought it was a great idea. And then he forgot completely that the very first sight gag of the entire movie is this statue of David and his junk falls off.
That's my mom's most favorite piece. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't. Oh, so good.
And then the entire time, like literally, mouth has a mouth. Chunk, like, with one of my favorite lines at the very beginning of the movie, when the mom's like, "What is this?" And then he just,
oh
yells
shit!
out
What? Oh, sorry. Yo, that's that.
Drop that.
That scene is a constant meme that me and my sister said. Anytime somebody's got like an emergency, it's the chunk with a bleep what? Like it's such a vibe. I love it.
Literally, and it's like I didn't make it past that scene before I had to take it off the screens and think I was gonna get fired. But honestly, it's like, to me, I'm like, it's a must watch. Like, it's a rite of passage. You gotta watch this movie.
Yeah, you could keep if you gotta kept going. That.
Hey, Maggie, gonna give me a kiss? And
give me a big wet licorice kiss. Make me feel like a woman. It's so good. But this is the problem, is I had that similar
the next
realization.
30 minutes is going to be us quoting this movie.
The first time I showed it to Rocco, like, it was like I was legit chunk in that moment when I'm like, oh, 80s PG. This is the first realization that I have to think about stuff before I show my kid. Meanwhile, it was like, go in the back room, watch the Goonies on repeat for 6 hours. You'll be okay.
But the funny thing is that I think what I remember when I was in elementary school watching this movie on recorded VHS tape, I'm thinking to myself, I think the copy that I watched probably wasn't recorded off of like HBO. It was probably recorded off of WOR, and it was a TV cut of the movie where none of that stuff was in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the problem with a lot of I referenced on our Ghostbusters origin, is like, I didn't see the full cut of Ghostbusters until adulthood, and my wife Kim had a similar situation with the movie Valley Girl. She loved that movie, and then we watched it, and I was like, what is with you in this raunch fest of a movie? Like, just...
and I think that kids, so like, this is my first Kids Today, quote of the day. Kids today will never know the meaning of like the TV version of a movie. Like,
no.
we used to watch stuff that was overdubbed, right? Because in that scene, you'd get Chunk, and Chunk on TV would go, "Oh shoot, what?" Right?
So
he would do that.
Can I just sidetrack the overdubbing? One of my all-time favorite overdubs, because I don't know where else this is going to get incorporated. But you ever see the movie Die Hard?
Yes.
Overdubbed? Yippee-ki-yay, melon farmer. Like, that's literally what they put on USA Network.
Greg, we're going to cover this on our Christmas podcast. What are you talking about?
Dang it. I don't know. I don't know where else that would come on.
It depends. Unless we get canceled, we'll find out. But but it is. But that's the thing, is like the TV versions of these movies. I wish I could still watch those, because, like you said, like that little cut with like the weird word like getting thrown in there, like a melon farmer. How is that even an insult, right? It's like, I wish there was a streaming service that just showed TV cuts of these movies so that we can kind of reminisce about actual growing up. But yeah, that was my biggest, like, I was like, oh man, okay, I'm so fired.
That's great though. I mean, and honestly, like, that's fine. It's cool.
So let's talk about so the kids overall. I want to find out what your thoughts on everybody is, right?
Yeah.
So the first kid that we're introduced to really is Chunk, right? Like, he's the first one. He sees
smashes the strawberry shake on the window, and his pizza, and he goes, ah, and then yeah.
So what do you think of Chunk? Where does he rank among your Goonies?
He's up there. I mean, I related with Chunk. You related with Ram Man. It was similar build, me and Chunk. But he's hilarious, and honestly, he's got some of my favorite lines. Like, and of course, you would say like everybody's automatically gonna go truffle shuffle, but my most quoted like Chunk moment is when he's in the freezer and he's like, "Oh, they got Rocky Road, they got grape, they got chocolate eruption," and they're like, "It's a stiff," and then a dead guy falls on this child.
I think my favorite Chunk moment is when he's captured by the Fratellis and they're like, "We want to hear everything," and he goes,
"Oh my God,
everything?"
yes.
And then he starts going through the list of everything. In 3rd grade, I did this. In 4th grade, I did this. And then he starts telling the story about the puking in the movie theater.
And then this is the worst part. I jumped it over the edge and I made a noise like this.
But like literally that whole part to me, it's perfect because he's not a kid. Like, this is literally he's talking like a 30-something-year-old man.
And when he escapes the scene where he's calling the police about the guy's like, "Just like the time you told us, that they have all these little creatures that you couldn't feed after midnight." And then when they pick him up on the side of the road and he's like in the back of the rearview mirror, you can see him. Good.
So I have reason to believe that Gremlins and Goonies exist in the same universe. Like, I think that the two stories intertwine, because I don't think that he's talking about Chunk making up this story. I think Chunk saw this in the newspaper or something, and I want to believe in my head that this is like a connected universe.
This is more Wayne's headcanon.
Oh yeah, the Gremlins are around when the Goonies are around, so that's my brain. What about Mouth?
Oh, Mouth is probably my favorite of the Goonies because he's just a jerk.
Is he? You like the jerks?
He is. I've used "jerk alert" is one of my top used phrases. Plus, I love Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman movies, they are just. I'm having this realization like in the last couple of years, but like a bunch of my favorite movies, like minus Ghostbusters, are mostly Corey Feldman movies. Like The Burbs, Goonies.
He's a Ninja Turtle.
Ninja Turtles, Lost Boys, License to Drive is just chef's kiss. You want to watch a glorious 80s movie, but it's hilarious. He's got the lines in the movie. He's the cool kid with the members only jacket and the Prince t-shirt. It's everything that you strive to be in a Goonie or as a kid.
He's able to get a girl that's 16 years old to to like him by the end of the movie. That was just a weird, creepy thing.
I feel like I'm getting babies. I feel like I'm babysitting and not getting paid. It's another.
All right, so okay, what about Mikey?
Hey, Mikey. Mikey's great. He's the heart of the Goonies. It's he's I'm diluting myself or whatever he says. Like,
I think that Mikey is like he's not ever in my top 3 of the Goonies because he's the straight man in the entire thing where he's just like he just wants to get the mission made. He wants to save everybody, and he's got to deal with all of his Goonie buddies.
Yeah, I mean, and he's cosplaying as 1996 Scott Hall. We didn't even realize it, and he doesn't have the pinchers of pow or the slick shoes. It's
All right, slick shoes. We're talking about my favorite Goonie. Of my top 3, he's my number 1, Data. And what do you think of Data?
Oh, I mean, how could you not? Like, Data is just, cobbling together this random things that you would do as a kid. Oh, I'm gonna go make a blaster, or I'm gonna go make this, but and then in my mind, I'm like, how did this kid know how to do this stuff? Like, did he have his dad must be an inventor or something? What's his origin story? Steven Spielberg, let me get you on the phone. I need to know what's going on.
He grows up to become like the James Bond weapons expert or something.
Oh, well, that is a Disney Plus series we need.
Hey, he's around. He's great. And so that's to me. I first saw Ke Huy Quan in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And so I already knew him as Short Round, and it was just
talk about terrifying movies.
Oh my gosh! I saw this movie in a theater. Where a giant heart beating in his hand. He pulled it out of a guy's chest, but yeah, man. I wanted to be Data. I was more like Chunk, but I wanted to be Data, and just have all those inventions and all that, opening up your jacket and that. Punching coming out. To me, it was like Inspector Gadget before Inspector Gadget actually
was that before Inspector Gadget?
Yes. Yeah, it was before Inspector Gadget. It was...
Oh, my gosh. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Gadget I think was
not
87?
For me. Not for me. I saw them both at the same time.
I know. It was like you were, got all of the good things all at one time. You didn't have to wait.
$50 bills. Everybody laughs when Data's falling. There's so many good lines in this movie.
All right, so do the others count? Do the teenagers count as Goonies?
Oh yeah, Troy, he's such a jerk.
What is
Bran, how relatable is Bran with his new tires getting completely blown out and then having to ride the little girl's bike? It's
that was
so
awesome.
Good. Yeah, I mean they're all good. I think that was what makes up the group, like I said, they were all from different, I don't know, family types, and they all have but they're all connected over this one adventure, which is cool because, it's kind of like the, I guess found family, you know what I mean? They almost died together. So they're good, We should have got the damn Goonies too at some point, but no, still waiting on that.
I have a hot take. on a Goonies sequel. I don't know if you'd like it.
Uh-oh.
You want to hear my hot take? You want to hear it?
You don't want a Goonies sequel, do you?
I don't think it needs a sequel. I think that anything you do after that adventure is going to be disappointing. I literally think that that is because what are you going to do? The Fratellis break out of jail? What are you going to do? They got to find another treasure somewhere else? How do you top finding this pirate ship? This is the story. So these guys, I believe that they're going to be lifelong friends.
Yeah.
I believe that they will always kind of be together, that they're going to go to college, they're going to get jobs and all that, and then these people are going to come together. And I certainly believe that they will tell the same story to their kids, to their grandkids for the rest of their life. Did I ever tell you about the time we found One-Eyed Willie's treasure? Yes, Grandpa. It's going to be that, because how do you top it? These kids peak at that moment, and I don't think that it needs another adventure. What I would rather see in this time is I would much rather see an expansion of that. Like I want to see I want to know how the Fratellis, you know, I want to see them score their first job. I want to know how they, grew up. I want to see One-Eyed Willie and his adventure, but I don't think those kids need a part 2. I think you'll be disappointed.
What about a Fratelli redemption arc where they come back and they open up a restaurant and
they sing opera? And...
Joey Pants and Mama Fratelli, they come back.
Gosh, she is the best. One of my favorite things is somebody had taken a picture, and this is funny. Somebody had taken a picture of Greg the Hammer Valentine
thought they were the same person.
At a convention saying, I finally met the mom from the Goonies. It was Greg the Hammer Valentine. But those were the most fun bad guys. And that's how I first saw Joey Pants. That's the first thing I ever saw him in.
Yeah, Mommy ate my pepperoni. And, but and even today, if somebody asks me where the bathroom is, I'm like, stay to the right! Stay to the right! It's not really the kind of place you want to use the bathroom, is it?
And I gotta tell you, the thing about Sloth to me, in this movie, so, his big line, of hey, you guys! The little subtlety about that, right, is that, what was he? He was chained in front of the TV all the time, right? And he was left in the bottom of that basement. That line, hey, you guys, actually comes from an old 70s, 80s PBS show called The Electric Company. And so that was not a pre-Sesame Street, but that was a companion to Sesame Street at the time. It was this show that had Morgan Freeman and Spider-Man and all these people in there. And they had a line in this show where they call out to the kids. They go, hey, you guys. And that's what he's shouting out. And he does it twice in this movie. And even as a kid, I was like, that's the Electric Company. And, that kid, and I got to tell you this, as a disability rights advocate, right? In my real life job, the coolest thing is this. Chunk is the most inclusive kid I've ever seen on screen because he literally at the end of that movie looks at Sloth and goes, you're coming to live with me now. He didn't ask his parents.
No, it's okay.
He said, this grown man is going to live with us. And I love you, Chunk. It's
so good.
I can't go to an ice cream shop without looking at the flavors going, Rocky Road? Rocky Road. I love Chunk. I love Sloth. They should get their own movie. That's what I'll vote for. I'll vote for a Chunk and Sloth movie.
I'm going to say they could do an animated spin-off, but so you're telling me that line's from the Electric Company?
Yes.
So Saturday mornings, you, Cousin Oliver, 2 bowls of cereal, sitting in front of the TV watching it.
1 bowl of cereal and it ain't mine.
Listen, by the time we keep growing with this podcast, you are gonna have a Cousin Oliver. I don't care if it's real or fake. I'm gonna make a Cousin Oliver for Wayne.
Little puppet. Hey.
It might be Greg the Hammer Valentine. We don't know.
Yes. All right. So a couple of pieces of trivia I wanted to share with you. You ready for this? Okay. So Sloth rips off his shirt, right? And he reveals a Superman t-shirt, right? And the Superman theme song plays for a quick minute, right? For a hot second, that Superman theme song plays. Did you know that was a tribute to the actual director of the Goonies, Richard Donner, who directed Superman 1 and 2?
No.
So Richard Donner was the actual director of the 1978 Superman movie, and he was director of part of Superman 2. And then Superman 2's got a whole different thing where they've got a different cut of the movie where Richard Donner wanted the movie to go a certain direction, and then the producers wanted to go in a different direction. And so there's 2 cuts of the movie that exist, and the Richard Donner cut is the better cut. But anyway, that whole thing is a big tribute to him. And then the other, so this was like a Steven Spielberg like produced movie, right? So he was the guy behind it. He's the guy that was wanting to to push for this and stuff. And so what's his name? Josh Brolin. He goes to Steven Spielberg and he's like, hey, I'm really trying to think about, like my motivation behind going through these caves. And I really kind of think like these caves are like me, like in my relationship with my mom and this and that and stuff. And Steven Spielberg just looks at him and he goes,
you're going through a cave, act. Bro. Yeah, that's it.
You're in a cave. Just act. You're fine. You're good. Did you know that the scene where they see the pirate ship for the first time, they actually saw the pirate ship for the first time on screen. So like the first time they see the pirate ship is the actual first time they've seen the pirate ship?
No, I didn't know that.
So so part of the scene had to get chopped up and cut, and they had to shoot it again because every single person seeing the pirate ship for the first time, they were cursing so much in their reactions that they had to recut a lot of the audio because of that.
How unprofessional. Who curses during a recording?
Greg Gosling.
I got one for you.
Okay, hit me.
Does the mom look familiar at all?
She does, and I know where she's from. She's...
Oh my gosh.
Where's she from?
I'm about to yell at you right now.
You tell me, because I forgot.
The mom from Goonies is 100% typecast because she's also the mom in Monster Squad.
Yes, that's right.
As you're wearing a Monster Squad t-shirt.
Monster Squad t-shirt. The mom's not the star of that movie. But yes, no, she's the mom of...
Wait, whoa. The mom walking around with Rosalita?
No. The mom's not the star of the Monster Squad movie.
Oh, I mean, Monster Squad was, a beloved movie, but it's a bootleg of the Goonies. Come on.
The funny thing is, you got this mom in a cast, or she's wearing like her cast. No explanation why she broke her arm or nothing like that. Doesn't matter.
Probably Troy's dad threw something at her or something.
She needs that cast so that Rosalita can come. And here's the funny thing: as a Hispanic kid growing up, knowing Spanish, I got to enjoy this movie in a completely different way because I knew exactly what was being said.
Oh, I still don't know what Rosalita was saying, except for "no Peterman." That's another quote.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. He's like, "No feeding," and she's saying that, "No feeding, no feeding," and he goes, "No pen, no right." None of those words mean that same thing. Like, there's no way even.
Oh no! You can't ruin the Goonies ending for me.
No feeding, no feeding. He goes, no pen. No, there's nothing close to saying no pen.
No right. No sign. And then he takes the pen and he smears it down Troy's jerk dad's shirt.
But no, all that stuff was great. And then my last piece of trivia before we wrap up is this. You ready?
Yeah.
Did you know that Back to the Future and the Goonies both happen on the same day?
Supposedly. Confirmed.
Supposedly. October 26th, 1985.
Mm-hmm.
And so so there's another podcast called the Confused Breakfast, and Confused Breakfast, they were doing an episode on the Goonies, and they were working out and figuring out that the date on the newspaper where they're talking about everything happens 2 days before the events of the actual movie. And so if that's the case, the newspaper said October 24th, and 2 days later, obviously October 26th, which means the Back to the Future movie and the Goonies happened at the same time, which means that Back to the Future, Goonies, and Gremlins are all in the same universe in my brain.
I didn't think you were going to bring that up. I thought this last bullet point for you was going to be the great music video that features some of your favorite wrestlers. Okay,
that wasn't going to be a trivia thing. That was going to be something else I covered. It wasn't trivia, but so this is the real thing we got to wrap up on. Goonies Are Good Enough by Cyndi Lauper.
Classic.
Okay.
Absolute Long Island's own Cyndi Lauper. Another one, a notch above Billy Joel.
What do you mean a notch above Billy Joel? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? A notch above Billy Joel? I don't know about that.
It's Macchio, Lauper, 5 other guys, then Billy Joel.
Okay, first off, your wife lives in that house, and she's going to knock you down because you said that. Number two,
she won't listen. It's okay.
I'm uploading this to YouTube just so she can see this. specifically. I'm gonna text it to her. But this might drop Lauper down for you. Lauper actually didn't like the song, and she actually didn't play it live until about 2007, 2008. She finally started playing it live in her concerts.
Classic. It's a classic song, and not that soundtrack has so many good songs. The funny thing is, and
Dave Wolf, the producer behind like Cyndi Lauper and all that kind of stuff, like he was responsible for getting her connected to this, because again, all these other movies are getting connected with really popular stars, and ever since Ghostbusters coming out in '84, everybody wanted to be attached to a movie, and so he's the guy that got Cyndi connected to this. And then the music video came in multiple parts. Yeah. So there was actually like a full length, almost like a movie based on the Goonies Are Good Enough video that starred both the kids from the Goonies and wrestlers from the WWF. And so in one video, you've actually got Andre the Giant, Rowdy Roddy Piper, the Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov, Wendy Richter, Captain Lou Albano, with the kids from the Goonies. And so like that, you know what, Greg? I changed my mind. That's the sequel I want to see.
I'm so glad I didn't mention that earlier, because that was my other option for a sequel.
That's the option. That's the thing. I want to see that as a full-length video. And that technically is. That's just like a really cool video where you got Cyndi and then all the kids and all the wrestlers, and
so good.
That was probably one of my favorite things about Cyndi Lauper was her connection to wrestling.
You like wrestling? I had no idea.
Big fan. I think wrestling's great.
Oh, yes. But also do yourself a favor and listen to the song 14K by Tina Marie on the Goonies soundtrack. It is so good.
Okay, 14K. We got this. All right.
Do it right now.
We got it from Greg.
Hit the music, Wayne. I'm just kidding. No,
hit it. We'll get pulled off of everything.
Oh, okay. Is that how it works?
More than a few seconds. We get like a little blip, but that's about it. Well, dude, the Goonies. Any final thoughts on the Goonies, or any?
It's I could watch that movie with my eyes closed and know exactly what's going on, and I quote that movie, and as you've heard here on this episode, apparently me and Wayne could just speak about the Goonies in quotes, which is, it's a language that not everybody speaks, but when people do, you know that person's a good person. So,
well, honestly, it's one of those things where out of the Goonies is birthed all of these other kid-centric movies, and so you got Monster Squad, right? And so that's, again, and that's more of like a cult classic hit. It wasn't. Dude, it wasn't widely popular. And we're going to talk about Monster Squad, I bet.
I didn't even know if that movie actually existed or if I created it in my mind, because there was 20 years where I was like, did I have a dream about this movie? Like Goonies with monsters? But confirmed, it's a real movie.
There's a lot. There's even more modern-ish stuff like Super 8.
Oh, so good.
So many of these movies, they got to thank Goonies for it, because the Goonies were the ones.
Stranger Things, the whole thing.
I was gonna hit Stranger Things, because Stranger Things, and you talk about something just blends all of our loves together. That's who they are. And anytime, listen, if you ever got on your bike and then just started, going down the street, picking up friends as you went along, and then eventually ended up with, a group of 2 or 3 or 4 other, friends riding to who knows where, you're a Goonie.
Yeah.
That's who you were. I have distinct memories. For me, once we moved to Florida, when I moved to Miami, we lived in this little apartment building, right? And in this apartment building were a bunch of kids, and then we had there was an entire summer where we were, exploring, riding bikes, riding everything we could, skateboards, scooters, whatever you had, just this little, group of kids looking for adventure, looking for something fun. And if they couldn't do it, they'd make up that kind of fun, right?
Oh,
and so it's
totally.
one of those things where if you got a group of friends when you were a kid, You were looking for adventure. That's who you were, man. You were a Goonie.
You're riding through the neighborhood with your buddies, like you said, like collectively, and it's still something that applies today. Like Rocco's friends and him, they're all rocking different vehicles, whether it's like a Razor scooter or a skateboard. You know, who's on this bike, who's on that bike. But like honestly, like you said, riding through your neighborhood, backpack with some candy bars in it, probably a Walkman or a Discman. You know, some fireworks, a dead guy's wallet. You're going on an adventure, you know? It's going to be great.
Dead guy's wallet.
Chester Copperpot. Chester Copperpot.
Check with your parents first, kids, before you grab a dead guy's wallet.
Somebody cleaned them out already.
Oh, Greg, where can everybody find you on socials?
You could follow me at Greg Goslin on the gram, and check out my website at ggdc.art for all things creativity.
Follow us at Flip City Ghostbusters on all socials. Send us a voicemail. Send us an email. Tell us what you think. Who's your favorite Goonie? Do all that at flipcityghostbusters@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, give us a 5-star review. You have no idea how, if you just hit the follow button or subscribe button or whatever, how much that helps us get found by people. So that would be huge. Share us, give us a 5-star review. That would be great on all platforms. I forgot to tell you, we got a review. You want to hear this review?
Totally. The key, if you leave a 5-star review, you will get the keys to One-Eyed Willie's rich stuff.
To One-Eyed Willie's rich stuff. All right, here we go. We've got ourselves a review. What?
I just got hit with another Goonies quote randomly. Hey, Chunk, I got some naked pictures of your mom. I'll sell them to you real cheap. What?
Greg, we made it. We made it to the end of the podcast. Why do you got to do this?
Maybe if we put chocolate on the floor, Chunk could eat his way through. Come on, there's so many good ones.
This is not... I'm trying to share with you a nice review written by a nice person. Here we go. Oh, I got to turn it sideways so I can read it. Okay. This is a 5-star review, Greg, on Audible. Did you know that we could be heard on Audible?
Not until yesterday.
Audible. So the title of the review is This podcast is so much fun and nostalgic. I love it. Written by Jag, J-A-G. I love that I feel like I'm part of the conversation and it's like listening to friends. However, I do have some feelings about the serial issues. Okay. Also, I love the fun editing. Very well done. Shout out to Steven.
Steve-O.
Fast-paced, but fun to follow. Great job. Another awesome review. And you know what? Jag is going to get a sticker too.
What do these stickers look like? You haven't even showed me them.
They're too far out of reach.
Use the force.
They're over here.
Use the force.
Basically, look at our logo, and that's what they look like.
Oh, cool, cool.
Yeah, so it's all good. Follow us at flipcityghostbusters.com. The Flip City Podcast is a Radio Wayne media production. Thanks to our editor, Steven Orr. Steven.
A fantastic job by Steven.
Happy birthday, Steven. This is recorded the day after his birthday and will air weeks after his birthday.
We should be singing like the birthday song from like Applebee's. Happy birthday from the Flip City crew. Something. It's Steve's birthday too.
Hey, I like it. Until next time, see you on the other side, Greg.
And party on, you Goonie.